I feel like the biggest success of Milan's season, one of the best decisions that they've made this entire season, is not getting sucked in to the Joao Felix Wonderkid hype. Not looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, we will be the club to fix the Portuguese international. We will be the club to make Milan, the San Siro, his home. We will be the club to rectify his career. We will be the club to finally get something out of Joao Felix. Now, as we all know, Joao Felix's time at Milan is coming to an end at the end of the season. There's an agreement between himself, his agent, Milan's board, that this chapter is coming to an end and we're not looking to reopen it. We're not looking to extend it. You go one way, we go the other. Now, Milan, in January, they acquired the services of Joao Felix for a 5 million loan fee. And it came at a time where it was exciting news. Don't get me wrong, Joao Felix will always have question marks over his name. Why? Because when you look at his career, and this is going to look crazy, but I'll explain. Benfica, he was a massive success. A young player that pops onto the scene. He succeeds. He wins Liga NOS. He puts his team on his back. He scores goals. He shows quality. He shows hunger. That earns him a big money move to Atletico Madrid. And let's just say over there, he failed to live up to expectations. He failed to live up to the price tag. But listen, the promise is there. The hype is still there. The ability is still there in glimpses. And that's why so many clubs across the world always looked at him and said, listen, Atletico Madrid, that wasn't the club for you. Come to Chelsea. At Chelsea, he went on loan. Let's just say he didn't live up to expectations. Come the end of the season, he was on the bench. After that, he gets himself a loan move to Barcelona. And once again, come the end of the season, he's on the bench. Then he goes back to Chelsea on a permanent basis. And let's just say he never ever cements a starting position in that team. He's on the bench once again. Then Milan come calling. Milan, they had just appointed Sérgio Conceição. They were sat telling themselves, Sérgio Conceição's agent is Jorge Mendes. Now, which player does Jorge Mendes have? Joao Felix. Joao Felix is unhappy at Chelsea. Joao Felix is unsettled. But Joao Felix has shown throughout his career, there's promise, there's hype, there's ability. It just needs unlocking. And let's just say every club that he's gone to, besides Benfica, he's flopped. He is the biggest Wonderkid flop that I feel like I've seen. Because he's only done it at one club. And he is one guy that I can comfortably say just keeps failing upwards in life. I would love to fail upwards in life. I feel like it's an honor. It's a privilege to do the bare minimum and continue to flourish and continue to grow. Like Joao Felix at the end of his career will turn around and say, I represented some of the biggest clubs in the world. And I feel like he'll be proud of himself. But the fans will always have a bitter taste in their mouth. And let's just say at Milan, it hasn't really lived up to expectations. As wild as this may sound, I don't even think he's lived up to the 5 million loan fee. Like when you look at him, 11 games. 1 goal, and the goal came on his debut, a beautiful chip against Claudio Ranieri's Roma in the Coppa Italia. But then after that, 0 assists. Only 6 chances created, and at times he's coming across like a liability, like a hindrance, especially because of the positions that he occupies. He likes to play in that advanced playmaker role, but now the responsibility is to playmake. Like it's in the name, an advanced playmaker. Can you playmake? He hasn't shown he can play make. He hasn't shown he can create a surplus of opportunities. And fair enough, some might say it's a very unstructured Milan team. Some might say it's a Milan team that lacks motivation. It's a Milan team that's underperforming. But at the end of the day, as an individual, you should be performing for yourself more than anything. This is your audition to Milan's board, to Milan fans. And he's failed it on so many different accounts. Off the ball, he offers nothing. On the ball, he hugs onto the ball too long. He plays in a position where players throughout the season have shown we can play make better than you. Christian Pulisic has played in that position and done better than Joao Felix. Tijani Reijnders has played in that position and done better than Joao Felix. You even saw Joao Felix out wide on the wing. Passenger, he doesn't even crack that hour mark. So Joao Felix at Milan, it's a chapter that needed ending. And I feel like Milan will definitely look at him and say, we gave you an opportunity. We gave you an opportunity. We told you, come, make this your home. We are looking for a statement signing. We are looking to revamp this attack. And for me, he's failed on so many different accounts. He's been a liability. He's been a hindrance. At times, he's been forced into the team. Like, in order to accommodate a Joao Felix, you've had to get rid of other players. And for me, I will always say this about Joao Felix. He is the perfect example to any young up-and-coming footballer. Look at the career of Joao Felix. Just because you make it as a professional, just because at a young stage in your career you win a trophy with your boyhood club, does not mean you are guaranteed to succeed. Talent is not enough. Talent is not enough in the modern game. It's all about application. Can you showcase that talent week in, week out, home, away, Italy, England, Spain, Turkey? Because it's being rumoured his next move is to Galatasaray. His application has always been poor. Like, the kid's talented. Like, he's 25 years old. There's talent there. Like, sometimes you watch Joao Felix on the ball and he does things where you're like, wow, you're capable of this. But then he finishes them off by passing the ball out of play, by trying to take on one too many players, by making the wrong pass. But even then, those little nice moments, how often do you see them? Once a month? It's not good enough. It's not good enough. I feel like his application is poor. I feel like his attitude in games is poor. Like, he's one of those players that's the biggest mystery. And listen, the reason is clubs keep getting sucked in because they keep telling themselves, maybe, just maybe, we will be the club to get something out of him. And in my opinion, for somebody that's followed his career, I feel like at the age of 25, he's now reached that stage in his career where no club will be his home. He will not settle in anywhere. He will not put in the application. He will not become a consistent performer no matter where he goes across the world. Why? The simple answer is he doesn't want it enough. Sometimes in football, you can have the talent, you can have the ability, you can have a very broad skill set, you can have the physical attributes, you can have the technical attributes, you can literally have everything. But if you don't want it enough, you're destined to fail. And you will fail because, like I said, when you look at his career, he's flopped everywhere outside of Portugal. And I would not be surprised if you send him back to Liga NOS and he flops there. He looks at himself, he cries himself a river, he tells himself, oh, it's not my fault, but you're getting opportunities that some other players would wish for. And you haven't grasped a single one of them. So what's next for Joao Felix? This is a dude that signed a 7-year contract at Chelsea. Yes, I'm not lying. When I done the research, I couldn't believe what I saw. I'm thinking 4, 5 years. Like, Chelsea, they do offer those prison contracts, let's just say. 7 years! Joao Felix! Joao Felix will be there until he reaches his 30s. I think it's crazy business. Fair enough, they got him for a low fee, but even then, 45 million for Joao Felix, that's not worth it. He's on a 7-year contract. He earns just over 100 a week. And I think Chelsea are going to look at him and say, if we can just get 20 million for you in the summer, we are more than happy to let you go. So what's next for Joao Felix? It's looking like the Super League, the Turkish Super League. It's looking like Galatasaray. They're looking and telling themselves every summer we make a statement signing. This season it was Victor Osimhen. Osimhen will leave. Why not bring Joao Felix? And I just feel like Joao Felix is one of those players that's just eventually destined to go to the Middle East. And I feel like even then he wouldn't flourish. I would not be surprised if Joao Felix is one of those players that's in the MLS by the age of 28, 29, or even in the Saudi League by the age of 28, 29. And I wouldn't be surprised if he retires by the age of 30, 31. A player full of talent, a player full of promise, but a player that never ever wanted it enough and never ever wanted to showcase it week in, week out. And let's just say Milan have dodged themselves a big bullet. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions in the comments, and I will catch you guys on another one.